We are going to see the star. This star is called the Bethlehem Star, also called the Christmas Star. Jonathan is telling us to look southwest. We have no idea. And this has not happened in 800 years. Last time it happened was 400 years ago, and you couldn't see it. So it's been 800 years since this has been visible. Saturn and Jupiter are aligning, and they are the two biggest planets that there is in the solar system. And they are aligning to make a super bright star in the sky. And there's a lot of people that believe that this is the same phenomena that happened during Jesus's birth when the wise men came, when the wise men saw the star. There's a lot of people that believe that this is the same star that the wise men saw. And astronomers are saying that it's going to be really amazing, and so we're going to document it. Hopefully I can get some pictures. We shall see. But it's going to happen about 45 minutes after sunset for everybody. And I'm really excited. I know it's weird because I'm totally blind, but I've been freaking out about this all day. I'm so excited. So excited. And so yeah, if it is the same star, that's really cool. And it's cool that it's happening in a year where so much has gone wrong. I feel like it's God speaking to us. I feel like, you know, God is giving us hope, saying, I'm still here. It's been a bad year, but this is my sign, you know, that it's going to get better, and I'm in control, and you still have grace and love and peace and hope. And I don't know. I just feel like it's a really positive thing, and I feel like God is saying, like, you know, everything's going to work out. It's going to be okay. Just trust, and this is my sign that I'll always be with you, and that's what I feel anyway. I don't know. Everybody feels different. So let's get some. What are you thinking?
I am really excited to see it. I don't know what it'll look like, but I'm excited to see it.
So they say that if you have like a telescope and you can look at it closer, or maybe binocs, you'll see, I think it's Jupiter's the brighter one.
Nice.
And so this side will be brighter, and then this side of the star will be like less bright.
Yeah.
Because Jupiter's brighter than Saturn.
Yeah.
And so they say like it'll just look like a star, but if you can see it, like if you can like switch it, like if you can see close up where you can see the whole thing, it'll look really different.
Ooh.
And they said it's supposed to be like really bright.
That's awesome.
What do you think, Tobin?
I don't know. Maybe. I think it'll look really cool, and I don't know.
He was asking us what it is. He's like, what are we going to see? And then Heather's like, it's a Bethlehem Star. And he's like, what's that? But now he knows because I just told all of you. So we shall see you. We are driving, and we shall see what happens. And remember to thank God for this amazing blessing that you get to see this in your generation, because it won't happen for a long time, and you'll probably never see it again. So if you're not looking at it, then go join the idiots. Unless you're working and you can't get off, then you're exempt. But if you're able to go look at the star and you don't look at the star, you're crazy. So we shall be back. So apparently my sister said that all month the planets have been getting closer and closer, and that you can see them getting closer together, but we didn't know, so we've never looked. But she said all month you could see them getting closer together. So I didn't mention that today is actually winter solstice, first day of winter.
What is
And it's the shortest day of the year. And I don't know how to describe solstice. I don't know. I just know it's the shortest day of the year, and it's the first day of winter. And I don't have a picture, and I don't know that I can get one, but apparently the sky is golden. So that's cool. Heather said it's usually like pink and purpley, but it's she said it's gold. It's gold. So that's cool.
Oh, they're all parked.
Oh, there's a bunch of people that are already parked. Wow.
Which one do you think is going to be better?
Anyway, so we have about 10 or 15 minutes. So we're driving farther out. We have like 10 or 15 minutes. How'd you get the golden sky, Avery?
I don't know.
I don't either. Just point it like that? No, but then you're gonna
Not
see.
that way. It's right.
It's behind trees, right?
Oh,
Really? These people are gonna be like
No,
those
it's
people.
gonna be over here.
Oh, wow.
what?
It's right in front of me.
Yeah, it's. Ooh.
Just the color of the sky is very pretty.
So there's a golden sky through the windshield.
Can you see it, golden?
Yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
cigar, isn't it?
Cool. That's awesome. Bethlehem. Where's Bethlehem?
I'm sure.
Maybe.
Doesn't look like it.
Where's Bethlehem?
But
It's funny.
shouldn't let me drive through.
There's a Bethlehem in Israel, and there's a Bethlehem in Pennsylvania, children.
And there's also a Bethlehem in your head.
Oh, bad. Dork. That's why they're calling it the Bethlehem Star, because the wise men came to Bethlehem to see baby Jesus, and that's where the star was. And they followed the star, and it shone over the manger in Bethlehem, and it led them right to the manger, and the star hovered over the manger. And so that's why they're calling it the Christmas Star, the Bethlehem Star. That's why they're naming it that stuff, because
I think a star is just going to be
they think it's exactly,
5:45. It's just going to be.
yeah.
Oh.
So, sorry, my sister's being hilarious.
I'm pretty sure that's got to be.
Yeah, the star went like this, and the wise men were like, "There's the manger."
That's it.
Yeah. You can actually see the two right next to each other.
Looks like.
You can what?
That would have been a good place.
Oh,
It's so small.
Yeah, I think you can see Saturn's rings though if we get the binoculars out.
that would be cool.
We brought binoculars.
Yeah,
Why?
why not?
So look at
What kind of
You can look.
question is-
I know.
Of course you bring binoculars.
I know. What the? I'm blind, and even I know that. I called Heather and I said, "Do you have your binoculars?"
I didn't even know we had binoculars.
I didn't either. I asked Heather. I said, "Do you have binocs?" And she's like, "I don't know."
Sarah, what the heck? Why do you call
Like
them binoculars?
totes, we bought them at Target.
Stop, Dad. Stop.
I hate totes. Everyone does that. It's so annoying. I hate when people say, "Oh, that's totes cool, man." Oh, it's so annoying.
No one says that, Sarah.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe you say that, but no one else.
So it,
Because you're like totes.
Because they're like, yeah, they're like totes.
yeah, totally not cool.
Totes.
Totes.
Like, you know
I
what I
hope
mean?
someone's keeping
Annoying.
an eye on the star and seeing if we need to go back, forward. Dad told me to pay attention driving, and
I don't see it.
he's chip chapping.
It's gone.
So we shall return. We are getting out. Avery says it looks boring.
It's very boring.
It won't be.
Okay,
There's going to be like a ton of people. Heather says you can see the rings with binoculars. I can't get a picture of that because you can't get a picture through binoculars. Yeah. There's got to be like...
You're saying how good
We might have to see it from the
All
car.
right. So,
Oh,
the best way to see it, I found, is with one eye closed. So use your
What?
prominent eye.
Can you see both planets
why would you want to use one eye?
with the binoculars?
Oh, I was like, what?
Can you see both?
Yeah. Show Bubba.
Avery's freaking out about something.
All right.
only,
No.
only one eye.
Okay, Avery, describe it to Sarah.
Okay,
What it looked
so
like.
It has one.
Now what
I
you're
don't
gonna wanna
think.
do.
Okay, so
Point it right towards
It's-
it.
it has has one planet and then it's kind of overlapping the other one.
Oh.
So it's kind of like this. I'm doing it with my hands. Feel it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the circles.
Okay.
And they're overlapping each other.
Okay.
And it's really, well, it's kind of bright right now.
It is bright.
Yeah.
Right there, Tobin.
And you can see the rings when you look at it.
Can you see it, or you have to look through that thing?
You can see it, but
let me
it's
adjust
faint.
it and
So
I'll
you
try
Oh, so I can't get it on camera.
no.
What about
Well, maybe through the
when the
binocular.
star? That would. I don't think you could film like that. When the star comes, do I just point it like this,
Do you see
or
that?
what? How will you?
Don't?
Okay, there.
Let me.
Hold on. We shall see. Heather's trying to see the what is it? The wings or ways or whatever. I don't know.
I know, I can't see anything. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Wipe them off or something.
Oh,
You see like one right next to the other?
two dots.
Yep, 2 dots.
Looks like 2 white dots.
It's just.
Whoopee shit.
I know.
Oh, look at that.
I'm doing it the other way.
Look at that though.
That might not be it.
That is it. It's 2 right next to each other.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Sarah, watch out.
Come on.
They're gonna
Oh,
run us
oh.
over, honey.
Jeez.
They're running us over.
Are they stopping too?
Yeah.
Oh, they are. More people are coming.
Did you see it, buddy?
No, I can't see anything.
It's okay, Tobin. We'll help you.
Okay, right here.
All right. We shall be back.
Close your door.
I did.
The lights are still on.
Hold on.
It's probably one of our doors. Robin, it's probably yours.
I slam it super hard.
So, Tony said it looks like 2 moons. Like one's brighter than the other. And it looks like 2
I'm gonna open your door.
mini moons. And
Jeez, easy on the door.
he said that
Get the light off.
it looks really cool. Heather thinks it looks like white dots.
Is it
And I don't know. I don't think that's it.
But this
Here This guy says it's gonna go on the horizon, and
all we see
is like these planets. We see like little dots, but
show us where Jupiter and Saturn.
they are supposed to. He said it's gonna be on the horizon, not in the sky. I think it's something different. It's not supposed to be in the sky. Yeah, because remember you were saying it's gonna disappear from the horizon quickly. I don't think that's it, guys. Stop. I can't imagine the wise men followed 2 dots and said, "Oh my God, that's cool." Come on.
Been brighter then too.
Wow. No. No.
Sarah, how do you know that?
I just do. I don't think they would make a big deal about a Christmas star and God would say, "Look at the dots."
Let's
Go
see,
ahead,
what are we
look at
looking
the
for?
2 dots.
Jupiter and Saturn.
And Saturn. There's Pluto.
There's no more Pluto.
Yeah, there is now. It's
What?
back.
It's back. Yay! I'm so happy.
I love PLU.
Planet X. It's back.
Wait, what? What's Planet X? Tobin, turn it on. I accidentally.
Come on.
Whatever, turn it back on. Tobin, put the sticker back on.
I see Jupiter or Saturn on here.
Why?
Who does that?
Looking for Jupiter and Saturn on here.
We shall be back. Heather says there is a twinkling star. I don't know. Tony said he found Neptune and the moon.
Me too.
Remember how I got
I don't know.
Yep, I think that's it
Oh,
too.
right there.
Oh, wait. What? Where?
Right there.
Where?
Oh, it is those 2. Boom, boom.
Tony
that got
says
so much brighter.
that he thinks it's those. Are you
Jupiter,
pointing
Saturn.
right to it?
Boom, yeah.
Yeah, he says yeah, it's got to be those 2.
It says Jupiter, Saturn.
Where is it?
Right there.
Yeah.
They're right on top
You
of
would
each
not
other.
be able to see it on GoPro.
You're not?
Let me take your GoPro.
When do they align?
It's gonna get brighter, guys.
Right here.
Okay.
This is my dad's map. Zoom in, Dad. And there's Jupiter and Saturn. They aligned. They aligned right there. So yeah,
There we go.
there you go. Here you go, sir.
Yeah, I think that's it. Cause look how it's shining. See how it's
I'm
making
showing
like
you.
a
Oh,
cross? Is that it?
that's Saturn and
Oh, yeah.
Jupiter right there.
It's making a
And
cross.
Pluto is like right behind it. To the right.
Yep.
It's making a cross.
Oh yeah.
Sort of. Not really.
Yeah. See how it looks kind of like a 5-pointed star or a little cross.
Oh.
You see it? Look at it for a long time.
5-pointed star
Stare
does
at it.
not look like a cross.
Stare at it. It looks like a cross, like all the pictures.
A cross, yeah.
It doesn't look like a normal star. I mean, it's tiny and it's super far away. Tony, you have the super zoom camera. Try to zoom in on that
Yeah.
with your camera. Okay, bye.
So I guess Tony's getting pictures with the zoom cam.
Won't let me use my camera.
Avery said you can't get it on the camera.
Well, not on your GoPro.
Why?
It doesn't zoom.
Because your GoPro
This,
doesn't
my
zoom.
phone zooms
That
up to
does.
100 times.
Oh, wow.
And that's the only way you can see it.
It's so far away. We could try to get a picture. Did you try to take our camera?
Yeah.
Tried to.
Look at that.
I think you have to zoom in before you start the video.
Wow.
See?
Oh, yeah.
Hand it to Tony and he could try to take a picture.
I see Pluto!
No.
She's
Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto's like over here somewhere. Pluto would be, you wouldn't be able to see. Pluto's
Pluto's tiny. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see that.
I want to see Pluto.
You.
Me too.
Yeah.
I want to see Pluto.
The sky is
It
beautiful.
farts.
Hmm.
Little farts.
We don't want to miss it. Everyone we know is doing this.
Besides Heidi.
No,
Heidi's at a park.
Yep, that's what it looks like. See people
Mm-hmm.
posting pictures of it. 2 stars right next to each other.
For our military, addressing the healthcare needs
I don't know why
of
that
our
lady's
brave
talking,
warfighters.
but okay.
Because she's talking about the healthcare need.
A live view of the Christmas star.
There's a healthcare need.
Can you imagine just seeing that star?
And then, like, oh, we gotta.
But here's the thing. Imagine, like, right
See, this is
now.
what it should
Yeah,
look
you-
like.
Oh, yeah.
But
If you
you,
stare at it.
Wait,
right
why
now.
is it
if
blue?
you weren't here, like if we
there's
went
this one.
away, like an
Yeah,
hour and a
far,
half to
far
2
away.
hours away, like I wanted to, that would be like 10 times brighter.
That
Aww.
would be brighter, but it'd still be far away and it'd still be small. And
Well, yeah, we wouldn't be under it, and there wouldn't be a manger there or anything
Right.
like that. But
So it's like not that cool, is what I'm saying. Like, it's okay, it's not that great. Here's a picture from NASA.
Oh, look, there's a manger. Come on, dude.
NASA.
The space people.
The space people, let's
NASA.
see, let's see if they post.
NASA.
It's NASA.
I know. NASA.
Mhm.
NASA.
Heidi said it's supposed to get brighter around 6.
See, that's what I thought too. It's supposed to get really bright, is what I heard. Like super bright in the sky.
Let's see if NASA posted any pictures.
well, we gotta wait for all the light to go away.
Well, yeah, because it's not all the way dark, right?
Oh, you seriously
We
need to
should have
take
come
off
back.
Oh, I can describe it.
Okay.
If you look at all the other stars in the sky, they look like a pinpoint of light.
Okay.
If you look at this one, it kind of looks like a cross shape of light. So you can see it goes down just a little and the beam goes across a little.
Oh,
And
wow.
if you look through the binoculars, you can see one planet and then right next to it you can see the other one.
Oh, wow.
It is brighter than most of the stars in the sky, but
But why would they make
it's
it?
a lot brighter than any of the stars.
Why
in
would
the
they
sky.
make a
It's
big
just
deal
a
out of something
star.
that tiny, though?
It's a long ways away, so
Yeah.
it's not going to be like large.
But what's the big deal? Everyone's freaking out about it, and I'm confused.
They haven't been that close in orbit for 800 years.
Oh. Wow.
Drive further away.
Cool. Now we're gonna try to go down by 2 rivers and see if we can see it.
How far down is it, you think?
See what we can see. This is not what I thought it was gonna be.
Sarah, what did you think would...
I just thought everyone would be like, oh my god, look at that. Like, wow.
If you didn't tell me, I probably would have
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was gonna be like this miraculous, spectacular thing where people would stop and stare up at the sky and be like, holy crap.
I mean,
LED lights that blind you on the street.
There's a ton of people that are... No. There's a ton of people stopped and looking, but...
I just thought it would be like
if
a...
we didn't know it was occurring, we probably wouldn't.
I just thought it would be like a brilliance in the sky where people would stop and look at the sky and be like, whoa.
There's a lot of people
Sure,
out
that's
here.
what we all thought was going to happen.
Those lights are bananas.
But it was lame.
Ay.
We all thought that, but that's not...
That's what I was
I think
expecting.
it's right.
No, it's not right.
And it's pretty bright.
There's a lot of people here that everyone had the same idea.
Yeah, I'm sure they
Tons of
did.
people. Careful, there might be people out walking.
Yeah,
Like a 25.
there could be.
And I'm doing a 30.
This is a place to look.
Holy
You want to stop here?
Christmas tree.
I've seen it. If anyone else wants to see it more. You guys want to see it some more?
We came out here. We're going to see it some more, dang it.
We could have stopped on Tobin Trail.
Oh.
Down to the end and turn around.
Yeah, so the cool part is planets. 2 planets are forming a star. So it's not a star, it's 2 planets and they're making a star. That's what's cool.
And we don't see Saturn and Jupiter typically.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Why?
No, I haven't seen
I've
Saturn.
never seen.
You never
either
see
of
'em
the
separately?
planets As a kid,
I've never
ever.
seen them that I remember.
Oh,
I've never seen them as a kid.
I'm not an astrologer.
interesting. Huh.
The moon is bright.
The moon is bright. Spirits.
So, you don't even know what color the grass
It's big and
is?
bright. That
Me?
Yeah.
Grass is green, honey.
I didn't know that.
she knows that it's green, but she doesn't know what green looks like.
What?
No, it's kind of hard to imagine.
So sad you can't see pink. Pink is beautiful.
I like blue.
Yeah. Blue is really pretty too.
Good, I picked a good one.
Yeah.
I love blue and I love sparkles and glitter.
Oh yeah. Those are the most pretty things ever.
I think I need to
Just
become
That's why. in the
Lady
summer-
Glitter
in the summer,
Sparkles.
When I'm working,
Took my
I don't
name, I need to
sweat,
be.
Does she even know what? She knows what glitter and sparkles are.
Lady Glitter Sparkles.
Does she even know what I look
Except I don't love gristle.
like? Bad, Sarah.
Anyway, Avery was laughing. Avery laughed.
You're still bad, Sarah.
Come in.
I'm watching from right here on this road.
You're annoying me. Oh, gracious.
One minor detail.
What?
I can think of something. How about, do you guys want like a restaurant place or a fast food?
We were at Romeo's. I was thinking about the star, and I was thinking that I expected it, and we expected it to be this big, bright, wow moment. But if you think about God, like when God came to Elijah, he came in a whisper. You know, God works very subtly, and I think if God could come in a whisper, he could show a little star in the sky where people go up and go, wow, God, you're amazing. Instead of like this big boom and all of a sudden the sky is bright and everyone's like, whoa, you know. So I'm thinking like, you know, that's how God speaks. And I think we forget that. And we, can I take a Coke, please? You know, and we think that like God,
Do drinks come with a goodness? You do. Okay. Do you guys want lemonade? I do. Okay. May I please have that?
I think we always think like God's gonna shock and awe, and we're gonna just stand there in amazement. But sometimes what God does is little things, and we just don't see them or take the time, and God's speaking, but we miss it because we're looking for the big boom, and He's looking for subtle, quiet moments. I don't know. That's what the conclusion is that I've come to. Okay. Good afternoon. Good morning almost. Whatever. I don't know. So, I wanted to finish this video. We did go to Romeo's. We had really good food. We had a lot of fun, and it was good. And it was crazy, bad, horrible service. It sucked. We were there for like freaking ever. It was horrible. Anyway, so we were talking about the star while we were there, and then, you know, just, it was crazy, you know, and, we were just, you know, talking about some things, and I had some thoughts. So, the first thing is, we always expect God to do some, boom, look over there. Oh my gosh, God healed the blind man. Oh my gosh, that woman was in a wheelchair. Oh my gosh, that person's off the drugs. Oh my gosh, that star's amazing. Look at that freaking huge light in the sky. Holy buckets. You know, like we expect this God to do this miraculous, like, sign that the whole world's gonna notice and be like, that's God. But the thing is, because my sister was saying this today, she said, you know, if you didn't know that the star was there, if nobody told us it was coming tonight, she would have never known. And I started thinking about that, and I thought, well, you know, that's how it was back then. There's this Casting Crowns song, and it's called While You Were Sleeping, and it says, like, while you were sleeping, a star shone, and while you were sleeping, a king was born in Bethlehem while you were sleeping. And I thought about it, and this is some stuff I came up with. So first, before I start, I want to read from 1 Kings 19. And I don't know where to start reading, but let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here's Elijah, and he goes up to this mountain. So we're on verse 4. But he himself went up a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, It is enough now, O Lord. Take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers. And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, then an angel touched him, and said unto him, Arise, and eat. And he looked, and behold, that there was a cake baken on the coals, and a cruse of water at his head. And he did eat and drink, and laid himself down again. And the angel of the Lord came again the second time, and touched him, and said, Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. And he arose, and did eat and drink, and went in the strength that meet 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of God. So I just wanted to preface this. So Elijah journeyed to the mountain of God, and yes, we've talked about this in church before. Totally unrelated. I'm not going into details, but suicidal people, even the prophet wanted to die. It's not a non-Christian thing. Anybody can have it. Even the prophet wanted to die. And he was a massive man of God. And if you read in the Bible, he was like the greatest prophet that we had, other than like Jesus. So anyway, So he goes to Mount Horeb, and this is the mountain of God. And he came oh my God. And he came thither unto a cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, and he said unto him, What dost thou have, Elijah? And he said, I have been very zealous for the Lord God of hosts, and the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thy altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I, only am left, and they seek my life too. Take it away. And he said, Go forth and stand upon the mount before the Lord. And behold, the Lord passed by. Now this is where I wanted to get to. So this is where, so Elijah's saying, I've done all this stuff for God. They've killed all the prophets. They've killed everybody. They're after me now. They want to take my life. I'm done. And so they say, okay, stand on God's mountain, so God can come to you. And this is where I want to get to. So we are at 11, which is where I wanted to get. The only reason I didn't start at 11 is because I wanted context. I wanted you guys to know why Elijah was there and why God was coming to Elijah, so that you can understand what I'm going to say. So the Bible is always important to read before and after to get context of why something's going on. So we're in 1 Kings 19. Now we're going to chapter 11. And he said, Go forth and stand upon the mount before the Lord. And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains and brake in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. Now we're on 12. And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And it was so, when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entrance of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him and said, What doest thou here, Elijah? And then it goes on, but that's where I wanted to get to. So that's what I was gonna say. And the first time I found this, like I said, was in the Nativity Story movie. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's called The Nativity Story. And it's in the beginning, and Mary is with a bunch of kids, and they are reciting this passage, talking about the Messiah and how, the Messiah is going to come. So what I was trying to get at with all of that was, so God, people think it's going to be big, like the big fire, the big wind, the big earthquake. It was a strong, huge wind. It broke rocks into pieces. But God wasn't in that. That was just wind. Then there was an earthquake. Shook the ground probably split the mountains. But God wasn't in that. That was just an earthquake. And then there came a fire. A great fire that could have burnt up the mountain. But God wasn't in the fire. It was just another fire. It just happened to, be a fire. But God's not in that. So he came to Elijah in the end in a still small voice, which is how we hear God today. A still small voice. So we think all this stuff like God's gonna be dramatic, like a wind or a fire or an earthquake. But God speaks in subtleties, in subtle ways, and taps on the heart, or still small voices, or nudges from the spirit. Don't do that, that's wrong. You have that feeling, you shouldn't do that. You have that feeling that it's wrong, and you have that feeling that God's telling you no, that's you shouldn't do that, or you have a feeling that somebody's telling you to do something that just isn't right, and you don't know if you should do it, and you're nervous, and God's telling you not to do it. Or, you know, like you want confirmation of something, and, you know, you're praying about it, and you really feel like God's telling you, you know, like today I felt God was telling me the star was hope, and it represented hope and grace and love, and it represented, you know, all this positivity and all this stuff, that it's been a hard year, but look up, child, you know, look up to the skies, you know. It's like that Lauren Daigle song says. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but, you know, I was telling Jonathan about this. She says, you know, look up, child. And, you know, like, so God's saying, behold, look up at the sky. Look, you know, look up here, child. Like, the world's crumbling. All this stuff's going on. It's horrible. Like, you know, like, I can't figure anything out. God, where are you? Where's God? And God's saying, child, look up. Look up, look at the sky. This is where I am. Look at my star. Look at my signs. This is proof that I'm here. This is who I am. This is, look up. This is my manifestation letting you know that I'm here. This is my creation. This is my supernatural gift to you to let you know, look up. I'm here. Keep your eyes up. Keep your eyes fixed on heaven. Keep your eyes fixed on God. Look up. Don't look down. Don't look at the world. Don't look at other people. Look up. Look up, child. Look up. So that's kind of what I thought of. That song has a whole new meaning. But anyway, that's kind of what I thought of when I saw this. So I was thinking of that verse in Elijah where he, you know, it doesn't come in the fire, he doesn't come in the wind, he doesn't come in the earthquake, but he comes in that small voice, that nudging, you know, that whisper. Elijah, what are you doing here? He doesn't say, Elijah, what are you doing here? He says, Elijah, what are you doing here? You know, he's a small, audible, small whisper. And today we think of those whispers as the Holy Spirit speaking to a heart. But back then, he was a still, small voice. So he said, Elijah, what are you doing here? Still, small voice. Not, Elijah, what are you doing here? Why are you here? What doest thou here? No, it was a still, small voice. So what I was thinking of is the wise men. So these wise men, the Persia for magi is scientists. They were the Greek for magi, I can't think. I saw it in a video today. Something to do with scientists. So the magi were basically scientists of the sky. They were, in today's terms, I guess you could call them astrologers. And they knew the signs. They knew they knew all the prophets. They knew the scriptures. They were from Babylonia, or Babylon, or whatever, I don't know. And, you know, they knew these scriptures. And, you know, the Jews had been captive 70 years before in Babylon. And Daniel had been the chief wise man, the chief of the Magi. So they knew these scriptures, because Daniel was with them, and Daniel quoted these scriptures, and Daniel knew this stuff. So they knew all this stuff that was going on. They knew, and they kept up with the prophets, and they knew that Micah said, out of thou, Ephraim, thou Bethlehem, or whatever, will come a child. So, you know, they studied the different patterns when other kings came and when other big events came, and they looked at the stars and they knew how to read the sky, and they read the sky and they thought, you know, like, wow, like, look at this, like the astrologers did today, like Saturn and Jupiter are gonna align. This is something's going on. It's been 400 years. Must be the king, you know. And the thing that's really odd too is this thing comes every 400 years. This Saturn and Jupiter aligning, which I didn't think of this till just now when I was talking. So this comes about every 400 years, but you can't always see it. Last time it was in the middle of the day, so you couldn't see it with the naked eye, and that's why it hasn't been seen in 800 years. But the interesting thing, if you think of it, if this is what the wise men saw, which is what a lot of people think it was, you need to think that from the time of Malachi, the end of the Old Testament, from the time of Malachi to the time of Jesus, which is it's known as the silent years, because God didn't speak. God was silent. So there's like 400 years of silence, and that's where we get the Maccabees and the rebellion and the destruction of the temple and Hanukkah and all that. It's part of this. So this part of this like 400 years of silence. And so the thing that's interesting is if it comes every 400 years, you have to think. So they had one then right before God stopped speaking, they would have seen this if it was visible. If it was visible, it might not have been. 400 years later, which is when the star would be set to appear again, is when the wise men would have seen this. And so they studied the skies. They know the stars. So they're looking at it and they're thinking, well, these planets are going to align. Well, most normal people don't sit and study the planets. Like Peter and Andrew, they're not out there going, oh, let's look at the stars. You know, John, the disciple whom Jesus loved, isn't like, oh, let's look at the stars and see if the Messiah is going to come tonight. Like, let's see if there's a star pattern. They were fishermen. They were worried about fishing. They were worried about making money, paying their taxes. They weren't in looking at the stars, waiting for the Messiah. These people expected this king, this warrior, this guy to come and just crush Rome and take up occupancy and sit on the throne, and I am the Messiah and peace has come. And it wasn't. God came in as a child, you know. Jesus came as a child, and he, and so most normal people would not be attentive to the stars in the sky. So like my sister said, if someone didn't point it out, she'd have never known. So if you think about it, a lot of people missed the star and they missed the birth of the king because they didn't study the skies. They didn't know the star was coming. Like my sister said, she looked up and the sky looked a little bit brighter. But there's still all these stars. There's just one that's shining a little bit brighter. So most people missed out. Most people didn't see the significance of the star because it was God's whisper in the sky. It was God's whisper in the heavens. And people weren't in tune to the planets and they didn't know to look for a sign like this, is what I believe. So, if you think about it, these wise men studied and studied and studied the skies and they were like, wow, these planets are, this hasn't been done in years and years and in years, this hasn't been done, and these planets are aligning, and so they followed the star. They followed the planets aligned, and they followed the star because they had gotten into Bethlehem. They knew that the Messiah was going to be in Bethlehem, and they knew from studying the skies that these planets were going to align. So they got into Bethlehem, and they were like, oh, look, Saturn and Jupiter are aligning now. Like, it's happening. So they follow the alignment of Saturn and Jupiter guiding them. Saturn and Jupiter come to the manger and hover over the manger. So the star is hovering over the manger, or the, I don't know if it had been hovering over the manger because the wise men came to Jesus when he was like 2. But in the Bible it says the star came to hover over where the child lay. So what happens is they follow this star and the star stops right where Jesus is, hovers on him, and they're like, this is the king. We followed the star to this little boy and he's the king. So I just thought that was interesting and it really got me thinking because I realized how wrong I was about the whole thing and how I thought God was just going to have this display in the heavens and everyone was going to look up and go, wow, that's God, like, look at that, and everyone's gonna stop and be like, oh my goodness, check out the sky, you know, but people weren't. people, some were, because everyone knew about it, because these days we have media, the wise men didn't have Facebook and get on and be like, hey, the planets are going to align and there might be a Messiah. They didn't have that stuff, and Herod asked them, where do you seek to go? Why are you in my land? And they say, well, we're following the star. We're following the star, and the new Messiah is supposed to come out of Bethlehem, and we're seeking the child, and we saw his star in the heavens. We saw his planets. We saw the planets align. We saw God's star in the heavens. And so he says, well, go find him so that I can worship him too. And so they go and they follow the star, and it leads them to Bethlehem. And so it's interesting to me because not only that, but if you think about the fact, so a lot of people wouldn't have known to pay attention to the skies. So most people wouldn't have seen a subtlety like that. But to these magi, they studied the planets, and it was a big deal. And so they noticed the sign of God. That's why we watch and pray and be attentive. Because God's not going to hit you in the face and go, I'm Jesus, listen up. God's going to tug on your heartstrings, and, God's going to speak to you in small, still ways. And, he showed them a still whisper in the heavens, a star. He didn't create some magnificent thing where everybody was like, oh, the Messiah. You had to be looking and wondering and paying attention and waiting for the Messiah and studying for the Messiah. It wasn't this big thing where it was like, ooh, like, wow, like, the sky is telling us there's a Messiah. I mean, most of the people missed it, but the wise men studied the planets, and they knew, and they saw his star. And the star did shine brighter than the others, but they saw the star. So I was thinking about that, and I realized that God doesn't speak in the ways we expect, and that God didn't intend it to be a big, huge boom moment. And when the wise men saw it, it wasn't some big wonder in the heavens where the whole world stopped and looked up. The wise men were paying attention, and other people might have, but it wasn't something where the whole world just looked up and said, oh, the Messiah. We need to find the Messiah. So I just thought it was interesting because I thought wrong, and I expected this big light show, and I was expecting everybody to be standing around and everyone to be like, oh, wow, look at that. Wow, it's so bright. Wow, gosh, they're so close, and oh my God, it's like the prettiest star. Like, oh my, I can't believe it. This is just amazing. I expected this whole shock and awe and wow. And God doesn't speak like that. If you're looking for it, you might be shocked and awed. The wise men were shocked and awed. They saw his star. But to the everyday human, God doesn't just say, my star's coming tonight, y'all. Get ready. Boom, bright light in the sky. God doesn't do that. And so I thought that was interesting how I learned a lot because I went into it thinking the wrong perspective, and God taught me so many lessons. Like, I never sat and thought about the wise men and how, most of the world missed that star, and most of the world was in bed sleeping. And, Jeannie Owens has a song, and it says, it's called Waiting for a Miracle, and it says, the stars shone bright that night, but it says something about only 3 wise men noticed, and they got up and followed the star, and everybody else was sleeping. But the wise men were waiting for a miracle, and they were following the star, waiting for the miracle. And those aren't the exact words, but I don't want to look up the lyrics, and I don't want to sit and play the song. The star shined bright over Bethlehem. 3 wise men came, it's like the star shone bright over Bethlehem that night, but only 3 wise men were following the light or something. It's something like that. And so it's basically saying, the stars shone, but only the wise men were following. Most people were in bed sleeping. Most people were in the inn. The rooms were shut. The rooms were full. They were tired and exhausted from the census and from being counted and from traveling. And they were in bed, and they knew nothing ever even took place that night. They never even knew that anything happened. It was just another night to them. And so I just thought that was very interesting, and it just really gave me a perspective of, how God is and his character and how he speaks and the way he speaks and the way he shows us his love and his mercy and his grace and his hope and the way that he shows us, if you're looking for me, I'm here. God doesn't say, dumbbell, here I am. You know, God says, if you want me, I'm here. Look up. I'm here. Talk with me. Visit me. Have a relationship with me. I'm here. He's waiting. He waits on us. He doesn't intrude into our lives and say, hey, can I be your friend? I don't really want to be your friend. You know that person where they're just like, I want to be your friend. And you're just like, please let me eat. Please let me go to the store. And they're like, I want to talk to you tonight. And I want to be your friend. And we're going to be best friends. And we're going to hang out. And we're going to do this. And we're going to have so much fun. And we're going to talk all night. And we're going to be the best of friends. And you're like, please, like, just go home for the night. And they're like, we're going to spend the weekend together. And it's going to be so much fun. And you're like, the weekend? Oh my goodness. God is like that friend. That best friend, that patient friend that waits. That patient friend that says, I want to be your friend. That patient friend that's not obnoxiously trying to gain your friendship, but that patient, still small voice of a friend that's speaking, saying to you, I'm here, look up. If you need me, if you want me to be your friend, I'm here. Look up. Look towards the sky and find me. That's what God is saying. God is not the obnoxious friend. God is like the patient friend who's waiting for you to come to them. It's like your best friend. If you're crying and you're upset, your best friend's not going to say, what's wrong? You have to tell me what's wrong. Come on, I know something's wrong. What is it? Come on, what's wrong? Come on, I'm your best friend. What's wrong? Your friend is going to wait patiently. Tell you it's okay. Tell you you're fine. Tell you everything's going to work out. Tell you that they're there for you. They're going to hold your hand. They're going to rub your back. They're going to hug you. They're going to tell you it's okay. Whatever's going on, it's okay. And they're going to wait patiently for you to tell them why you're upset and what's going on. And then they can console you, but they're not going to push. The best friend is going to wait. They're going to wait for you to make the move, to tell them what is wrong and why you're upset. God is the same way. He's not going to burst into your life and bug you and knock on the door and go until you answer. God is waiting patiently. He's waiting for you to say, God, here I am. And look up and see him. And see his signs. And see his wonders. And say, God, this is your miracle. I'm just a part of it. This is your story. It's not my story anymore. You're writing my story, and I'm just along for the ride. That's what God is. You know, that's what God is. You know, he speaks like that in subtle ways. So even though I thought his star was going to be this dazzling light show, it was a little beauty that you had to actually look and pay attention to notice. And if you weren't told about it, you might miss it. Like everybody during that time in Bethlehem. But the wise men, the ones who were waiting for the miracle, waiting for the Messiah, waiting for that patient friend, patiently waiting for that Messiah, they noticed the shining star. Wasn't a big dazzling display of light. The whole sky didn't light up. It wasn't like a fireworks show in the heavens. It was a star. One solitary star. And they found it. They saw it. And the lesson we can also take from this star is look out for God. Look out for his signs. We can, look out and we can be attentive. And just like the wise men, we can see those stars in our lives. Those little things that God does for us, those tugs on our heart, those pulls when something's wrong, those confirmations when we pray and we ask for something. We can see those stars. Those might not be God's stars in the sky, but they're God's star miracles to us. And God's saying through these miracles and through the star in the heavens, there's hope. It's okay, I'm here. Child, look up. Look up, child. Look up.